All right. I would like to call this April 18th, 2024 meeting to order. If we want to take a brief moment of silence. All right, amen. Um, do I have a motion to approve the March 21st, 2024 minutes?
Second.
Do I have a second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Moving on to old business, compensation study updates and timeline. Ms. Cross, maybe you can take this.
Yes, and I'm sorry. I think Isabel, I apologize. I think I told you to put the slides in a slightly different order. Isabel's going to share her screen. Unfortunately, Heather could not join us today, so I will be running the show today and with Isabel's help. But if you could just kind of fast forward to the compensation and classification study, Isabel.
Yep, 1 second.
All right, thank you. I will go through the steps of where we are in that process.
Great, thank you.
Sorry, give me just a moment.
Well, hopefully, Ms. Cross, at this point, is it well underway? Have you felt like you've had some good conversations so far?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful.
We are still in phase one. I mean, and you probably remember, council member, that there are many phases involved with this process, but I feel very good about where we are. We we did have our project launch. Oh, Isabel, I can't. It says you started sharing. I don't see it yet.
It's, it's still thinking, Isabel.
I Unfortunately, my screen seems to be totally frozen.
Oh no.
If you want, I can share my screen. I can try to do it
Okay.
on my end.
Yeah, Jennifer, that'd be great.
Thank you. Well, yeah, but I'm sure that there are some really great conversations happening, and all the beginning process has been, all the information gathering, right?
Yeah, we had our and I can just get started, really just kind of telling you, really there it's just mostly, kind of a lot of dates and, talk about where we are. But the contract was executed officially on March 13th, signed by both parties. We had our on-site meeting, project kickoff on March the 29th, where, Ed, they're based in St. Louis, and Ed flew into town and met with the compensation team. And we kind of talked about the project and our goals and what we hope to accomplish. We have established regular recurring virtual meetings. Every 2 weeks, the team will be getting together to discuss our progress and any outstanding issues or concerns. We had our first one this week on Tuesday, where we met the entire team. And they were just all very impressive. I mean, I really like the folks who are going to be working on our project. They seem very knowledgeable, and I thought it was a very productive meeting. Our step two, data collection and reconciliation. Our compensation team has done a great job. It's been a little bit of a heavy lift, because we had to provide them all our pay plans, all of our job descriptions, an employee census, benefit information, as well as they wanted to see our current employee evaluation documents, because we've asked them to take a look at that and provide recommendations as well. Process has been established to obtain a job analysis questionnaire from all supervisors to delve deeper into position job functions. We just, yesterday we sent all department heads all of their job descriptions along with a questionnaire most department heads and their deputies. And thank you, there it is. And we asked them to please share it with their supervisors, or if they wanted to review them themselves, that was their option. But we have asked them to return them all their comments to us by May 8th, so we can stay on track. Step 3 is for CBIZ to evaluate the job documentation, ensure that everything is complete, current, accurate, because they're going to review our job titles, propose changes to improve internal consistency and match external standards. And I think the thing I'm most excited about at this point, because I don't know if you've ever tried to schedule like 15 department heads for anything, but I was able to schedule every single department head for meetings with CBIZ next Thursday and Friday, April 25th and 26th. He's coming back into town, and he's going to be in our training room, and he's going to meet with every one of our department heads and talk to them, interview them to gain a better understanding of subordinate roles, clarify information, career progression tracks, and each department's individual employment challenges. So I think that's going to be extremely helpful in this process. So yeah, we are moving along. I'm very happy with where we are. Like I said, I think we've got a great team working on the project. I think the department heads are going to enjoy meeting with them next week, and I'm hopefully CBIZ will gain some, really helpful information, from them in this process. And once that happens, the ball's going to really kind of be in CBIZ's court for a while. They're going to need to do some, a lot of analysis and make sure they have all the documentation in order. And then they're going to do a market study for us. They're going to compare, our jobs and pay rates they have a pretty extensive database, and they're going to come back and kind of let us know where we stand in the market. So, anyway, yeah, I'm very happy with where we are right now. Does anybody have any questions about this process or? Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I'm to let
I've got
Carol.
one question, and it actually may be a question for the mayor. I know the mayor's sort of evaluating the various departments to potentially reorganize and find efficiencies and whatnot. Is this going to be sort of part of that, or I guess, are those going to be done in tandem?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're just, short answer is in all likelihood yes. I've not met with CBIZ yet, but I think that our efforts will tie in nicely with them.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Tinkler, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Ms. Cross. Do you by chance, do any of your slides, can they show us, or can they show this committee, and possibly something that I could present to council when this committee does report out, just that timeline, like the real hard, I know that these are sort of loose dates, but obviously we have, the contract date. Obviously right now is the initial data compilation, compiling all of that, getting all of our data. And then sort of as they, then it's sort of in CBIZ's hands. But do you have that timeline just, on a quick shot kind of template for some of us council members? If you may.
Would the slides that I just included with the dates, I can send you this entire presentation if that would be helpful.
Sure. That would be great.
Highlights everything and the significant dates and the progress that we've made thus far. I mean, again, we are hoping to have all of this work completed. Our goal, deadline is August. I don't have a specific date in August, but I do feel comfortable we'll be able to get, to meet that deadline. I don't know if it's going to be, the beginning of August, mid-August, end of August. It really just sort of, there's a lot of variables But that is our target, and CBiz feels comfortable they can meet that deadline.
Okay, wonderful. And again, I think this is, a lot of this, the heavy lifting right now is on, the burden right now is on our city staff, our managers, getting CBiz all of this data is such a crucial step in having the complete picture. So I'm just thankful that everyone just keep encouraging everyone to get them as much data as possible, because the more we have, the better, the result will be. So it's really exciting. And like I said, I'll continue to report out to the fellow council members as well, because I think we have to give ourselves a pat on the back on this one. I mean, this is the first time the city has ever done this, correct?
That is correct. Yes. And I will say that the fact that, again, department heads are so busy, the fact that I was able to get them all, to commit to a time to come in, next week. I think it just shows their overall commitment to the process. I think everyone is excited about it. Everyone is really looking forward to having the opportunity to take this important step. So anyway, yes, I'm very excited about it as well, council member.
Great. Wonderful. Any follow-up questions from anyone? I apologize if I can't see you. I'm mobile.
It's okay.
So shout out if you have a question. All right. Well, moving on. Thank you, Ms. Cross, and thank you, Jennifer and Isabel, for sharing your screens.
All right.
Moving
So I
to
don't know,
new-
Isabel or Jennifer, do you guys want to go back to the to start with our normal staffing update? Start with the sworn fire and police staffing level. Okay, so this snapshot shows where we are with sworn fire and police. Fire went down slightly from 91 to 90%. I would, and as I shared with you, Chief Curia is our super special guest speaker today. He'll be talking at the end of this presentation, but he and Chief Curia actually mentioned this in our department head meeting. They've noticed they had a little bit of uptick in their turnover, but he said that's kind of normal for them for first quarter. So not a significant increase, but down 91 to 90%. And I did want to highlight, they do have a recruit class coming up July 22nd. We have 42 people scheduled to enter that program, and plus 5 alternates. So that we have a very robust class. And so I feel like obviously we'll gain a lot of ground, when we get those on board, those recruits on board. Police remained about the same as far as their staffing. They are at 89%, but Chief Walker, shared with me they have 25 hires in the process and expecting them to go to the academy soon. So again, I think we're getting ready to make some really good progress filling some of those vacancies in fire and police. Does anybody have any questions about that slide?
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so our non-sworn staffing update. What we'd like to do is just kind of highlight the progress we made in this last month. We sort of highlighted over there the hires in progress. We highlighted the positions that have been a little problematic for us in the past. You can see that we wanted to highlight that we do have a new information technology new hire who will be starting April 29th. We have hired 3 temps to help with ball fields in the Parks Department. I did want to highlight stormwater management. We were at 40% vacancy there for a while. We cut it to 30. Now we're to 25%. We have 3 full-time hires in progress right now as well, and we've hired 10 agency temps to help. So we feel pretty good about where they are. Traffic and transportation, that 36%, that's mostly parking enforcement officer vacancies. But I did want to highlight that we have hired 3 PEOs so far in April, as well as 1 traffic control technician and 1 dispatcher. So again, we also have another parking enforcement officer in progress right now. Yeah, so we are making some progress with closing those vacancies. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, this slide shows us total turnover through March of each year, comparatively from year to year. So fire, we are looking at a little uptick in the turnover. But again, we only have 3 months of data so far. So these numbers will change. They'll go, up and down, back and forth a little bit through the remainder of the year. Police is actually, they've had a pretty fabulous year so far. They're not really haven't had much turnover so far this year. So that would be pretty amazing if they could maintain that number. That's looking really good. We've gone up a little bit for city non-sworn from, comparatively from 2.88 last year to 3.74 this year. But again, this is still an improvement because when we reported out to you guys last month, we were definitely looking at a higher number. We were looking at approaching a historical number of going to 17.5 to 14.47. But I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit. That's coming up on the next slide. But let's go to the next slide, Isabel. Okay, yeah, the annual turnover with the 2024 historical trend. Again, fire, a little bit of an uptick. Police, again, they're doing really well so far this year. And even though we're looking at a potential 14.47 trend, which is a little higher than I like, that is still is a decrease from what we reported last month to 17.51. So making progress. We're encouraged. We've had 2 pretty large back-to-back recruit classes in orientation. So I think that we are on the right track, and I'm pretty encouraged. Does anyone have any questions about turnover, kind of where we are right now? All right. I am then going to... Oh, hi. I'm just going to turn it over to Lindsay, our recruiter, and she's going to give us a recruitment update. Lindsay?
Yes. Hey there. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So I altered the slide just a little bit as we're coming out of job fair season. As last month, we had about 10 or 12 job fairs that we had completed in the month of March. Moving into April, this will be just more upcoming items as we prepare for summer. We have our aquatics department hires we do separately because the pools open before camps do, and there's about 35 total hires for aquatics. And then on June 10th, we'll have the main summer orientation with the remaining folks. In terms of recruitment efforts, as to reiterate what Kay mentioned, we're focusing on the high vacancy roles, parking enforcement and stormwater maintenance. We've made great strides with both of those areas to make sure that we are keeping those roles fulfilled. And then another breakdown at the bottom for summer. We have 107 hires total that we hire for the summer, and those are the positions broken out below. So far, we have 90 that we have accepted offers from, and they are working through their pre-hire background checks and things of that nature. So we are very encouraged with how much we've fulfilled these positions, and we're mid-April. So that's exciting for summer. Any questions that y'all might have for recruitment?
No questions from me. I don't see anyone else. That is phenomenal. Those numbers are great. Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Councilmember Parker. It really had, this is a completely different picture than where we were this time last year. So yeah, we're very pleased with where we are with our summer hires, and I think Laura Yarborough is very happy with where we are as well. So I think it's going to be a good summer. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our special guest speaker, Chief Curia, and he's going to talk to you guys and let you know what they're doing with CFD training programs in high schools. Chief Curia?
Sure. So good afternoon, everybody. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about what's happening recruitment wise and the partnership that we've got with the Charleston County School District. So just a little bit of background. The recruitment team in the fire department is a mighty team of two, and they do a fantastic job. Last year, when we advertised the hiring process, we had about 600 applications for firefighter, which in today's environment in the fire service is actually a really, really high number. So we should be proud of that. The recruitment team last year spent a lot of their focus on going and visiting high schools all across the state. But when we looked at the data of the visits we made versus where we got the applicants from, we found that it wasn't the best use of our time and the best use of our effort. So now the recruitment team focuses most of their time on the Tri-County area. And what they end up doing is they work with the counselors in the different schools. And as the counselors identify students who have an interest in this line of work, our recruiters go and meet with the students one-on-one or in small groups. And then we do pop-up events, say in the cafeterias of the schools. And again, the focus being local talent. And the philosophy is if we hire local, one, it's better just to have Charleston people or Charleston area people in the organization, but then they're also less likely to leave us. That's the theory, at least. They've already got ties to the area. They already know the challenges that we see other firefighters face with cost of living. They've already experienced all those things. So the exciting thing that we're doing that I want to focus on is that we've partnered with St. John's High School, and we partnered with them to create something that's, I call it the High School Fire Academy. And Mindy Sturm was instrumental in making the connections for us to do this. So the project started with an idea back in 2019. It was an idea I brought from my former employer up in North Carolina. And the thought being, if we can engage with a high school and then provide the firefighter training that one needs to enter a career in the fire service, if we could provide that over 2 years' time, then we're building a pipeline so that when kids are graduating high school and they turn 18, they have the ability to enter the fire service. Presumably, if we partner closely enough, they want to join the Charleston Fire Department. So to make that a reality, we have donated lots of equipment to the program. With the air cylinders you see firefighters wearing on their backs, they're called air packs. We've donated a bunch of air packs and air masks to the program. We've donated hose, we've donated nozzles, and it culminated a couple of months ago with the donation of a decommissioned fire engine from the Charleston Fire Department. So what ends up happening is the St. John's High School has a curriculum leader who is a certified fire instructor. That certification comes from the State Fire Academy in Columbia. Right now, I believe there are only 6 students in the program, but it's the first year of the program. So we started with conversations in 2019. It took us until the current school year to make this a reality. So the students come in, they have a block of time per day. They go through the classroom work that's required to be a firefighter. And now through the efforts of the Charleston Fire Department, they've actually got the equipment and the appliances that they need so that part of their class period can be spent outside doing all the practical skills that a firefighter has to know before he or she enters the fire service. So it's a 2-year program, and the state of South Carolina prescribes that for a certain evolution, say if we're going to expose the students to actual fire, there has to be an approved student to instructor ratio. So while the school system has a fire instructor on staff, the Charleston Fire Department has agreed to partner with the school system and send fire training staff over to assist and make sure that the safest environment is created for the students that are going through the program. So it's our hope that next year the program will gain even more steam, and it's a 2-year program. So some students will be in year 1, some students will be in year 2. But then obviously as the students progress from their junior year to their senior year, and then they graduate St. John's High School, we want to have an intimate knowledge of the student as a person and what their skill set is as a firefighter. It's almost like a 2-year job interview. And if we can do that, then we know ahead of time which applicants would be the best fit for the Charleston Fire Department. And I know we've talked to Kay at some length, but it's been a little bit of time, but we've talked about what we can do when these students graduate high school to incentivize them to come to the Charleston Fire Department. And can we do something along the lines of, if you've gone through the program with the school system and you apply for the Charleston Fire Department, can we at least guarantee that you'll get an interview? We're certainly not going to guarantee that you get a job because we have a very strict hiring process, but can we guarantee that you'll get an interview? Or can we give you some extra points on your written test because you've gone through the program that will help you get to the interview process? I don't know what just happened in this conference. I'm over at 2 George, not my normal digs. But anyway, the hope is that we can build this pipeline and have students on a regular basis coming into the Charleston Fire Department. To aid with that, we've modified when we hire firefighters, and now we're doing the hiring process in conjunction with the last portion of the school year. And we're doing both the hiring process, on the weekends, but then it spills over into the week. But with the timing now, we can bring high school seniors in. We can allow them to apply for the fire department. We can run them through the testing process on the weekends and the interview process on the weekends. And then during the week, when they graduate high school, we can send them for their physical and we can start their background check and stuff like that. So the hope is that we have a good, local, diverse candidate pool that we can then roll into the Charleston Fire Department with the help of the school system. And I am happy to answer any questions you have about that.
I'll just say that I applaud you and your efforts, Chief. This is exciting, and I think forward thinking and getting creative about how to bring in folks particularly folks here in our community. So hats off to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really incredible, Chief Carria. I remember when you started talking about this, maybe a year and a half ago. I mean, are you the only, or are we the only fire department, or I say you, that have sort of initiated this? Are there other municipalities that are doing this? Has the school board been, I mean, clearly they've been pretty receptive to it because you have it going on at St. John's, but I think I told you maybe a year ago, I mean, I'm certain other schools are ready to roll with this. I mean, you certainly have put out sort of a pilot program. I mean, where do you see this going?
Well, those are all good questions. Probably not answering them in the order that you asked them. We are not the only municipality that's engaged in something like this. I believe Greenville has engaged in something like this, and Columbia has also. Now, for the Charleston Fire Department, I would be remiss if I didn't say that this is a very, very close partnership from Charleston County Schools, the St. John's Fire Department, and the Charleston Fire Department. It really took the efforts of all 3 organizations to get this program off the ground. I believe one of the issues that the school system faced initially is trying to find a high school that would be willing to host the program. So that was the first hurdle. And I'm not sure of the conversations that would have occurred with the school system that landed the program at St. John's. But I do feel comfortable in saying St. John's, would like to expand the program. And whether that means students from high schools across the county come over to St. John's for the firefighter training as part of their block of instruction in the course of a day, or over time, maybe this program gets replicated across the county. I know Berkeley County is doing something similar, although I'm not sure where they are in the timeline of actually launching the program, but they are looking at it. So, it's been a group effort, and the more we can expand this program, the better off we're going to be. In my mind, my vision for this is that we maintain this close partnership. The Charleston Fire Department, as it's able to, funnels equipment and funnels staff over to the high school to make sure that really what we're doing is we're training Charleston firefighters without the fire academy that we put our new hires through. And that way, when they graduate high school, they know us, we know them. They apply for our department and they come in. The culture shock, sometimes going from the civilian life to a paramilitary organization can be quite shocking, but partnering with the school system will lessen that shock, and I think will make them a more successful candidate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would love to continue this conversation over here I spoke with the principal or one of the directors over at Gresham Megget over here on James Island, and I just think that this program, I just think it's phenomenal. So whatever we can do to support your efforts in this, along with this Human Resources Committee, please just let us know, because I think it's really great what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It wouldn't be possible without the school system, without St. John's Fire. And actually, towards the end of the planning process, we brought in St. Paul's Fire also. So it really is a group effort with a lot of really good people.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for presenting that and sharing it with the committee members that may not have known about it, but does anyone else have any other questions? I don't see any. Is there any other business to come before the committee? I don't see hands. I did have one item, Chief, since you're here. I was curious, there's an item, the contract that's up with the Kaleidoscope Group. Do you know, I think that it has gone through public safety, but I'm just curious why it didn't come to Human Resources, why it didn't come to the Human Resources Committee.
Quite frankly, I didn't think to route it through the Human Resources Committee. It's the most honest thing I can say. Most of the time I'm going through public safety and or Ways and Means, and I just didn't think about it.
Okay. Ms. Cross, I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm just curious, have assessments like this been done in other departments? And is it fair to think that maybe something like this a contract, as far as, especially when we're looking at diversity and employment, should it be something that we could have a further discussion in Human Resources?
I do not believe that we have ever contracted with an agency to perform. I guess I don't know. I guess you would describe.
I think if I may, Council Chairman Parker, this is something that I have, as recently as today, spoken with the chief on. I think there are a few tweaks that are going to be made to this contract, this proposed contract. And I think that, I certainly don't have any issue with it going through this committee as well, or at least being reviewed by this committee as well. Because, this is somewhat unique, but the chief and I have spoken, and, what we don't want to have happen is, this get caught up in some sort of, lightning rod, issue, when I think there is a sincere desire from the fire department to figure out diverse ways to hire, bring in more diversity into the department, like what he is doing, for example, at St. John's. This is not an effort to just check a box. So I do think it's important to study the language of these so that they don't go off, so that it wouldn't go off the rails and create more distraction than it does good. So I personally, if the chief has no objection, as we kind of work through the language and the specific proposal, share it with this committee.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, certainly, because I certainly have a few questions. So I didn't know if
Sure.
that would, I certainly feel like it would be appropriate in this committee rather than on the floor, but
Absolutely.
that was just me. But okay. All right. Well, I figured I'd ask Chief Curia. He was here. If there is
Do we
no
want, just to that point, Chairman Parker, do we want to defer it on the council agenda and until we were able to review it through this committee?
So I certainly would plan on making, was planning on making that recommendation on Tuesday. As far as, I don't know if anyone from the clerk's office is here. I can't speak to the city council agenda and moving any items.
Yeah,
I
think we may be fixed there, but again,
yeah.
I'd prefer that rather than have this be a discussion on the floor, because like I said, there are potential modifications to the proposal itself, and I'd rather have everybody, just given the nature of this and how it could be taken out of context. It's better to be more thorough on this. And Chief, if you're okay with a slight delay on that, I think that could be more constructive. So I'll move at council to defer it until we get the specific language, which we can run through this subcommittee and then take it to the full council.
Okay, I agree. Councilmember Tinkler, I don't know how you feel, but I certainly think this committee would be, perfect place to have that discussion.
I see nothing wrong with that.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you for bearing with me being a little late and being mobile here on this Thursday evening. But if there is nothing else, I will move that we adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you so
All right.
much,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.